All right, Mexico, current population of 129.2 million. They are consumed of 31 states, plus the federal district, which is Mexico City. They are among one of the 15 largest economies in the world. After 3 centuries as part of the Viceroyalty of New Spain, Mexico became its own independent country on September 16th of 1810. Their current government is a federal presidential republic, meaning that the government is run by elected representatives and an elected leader. Like the United States, Mexico has an executive, a legislative, and a judicial branch in their government, and a civil law system with U.S. constitutional law influence. The executive branch consists of the president and a cabinet that is appointed by the president himself. In Mexico, the president is actually only allowed 1 6-year term, whereas in the United States, the president is allowed 2 4-year terms. The legislative branch consists of a Senate, which is 128 members, and the Chamber of Deputies, which contains 500 members. The judicial branch consists of the Supreme Court, which has 11 members, the Electoral Tribunal of Federal Judiciary, and the Federal Judicial Council. While both governments have a presidential leader, the United States has a vice president as well who helps with the presidential duties. The United States has a common law system, while Mexico has a civil law system, but both have a judicial review of legislative acts. Mexico has many different political parties, with 3 main ones being the National Action Party, which they call PAN, PAN, the Institutional Revolutionary Party, which they call PRI, and the Democratic Revolution Party, with the most powerful party being the PRI. And like the United States, the Mexican military includes the Air Force, the Army, and the Navy. The only difference between them is that the United States military contains the Marines as well. Mexico's economic system is based on a mixed economy, meaning that it is a market economy and a planned economy that coexist. The balance is regulated by the Constitution. Between 1980 and 2022, Mexico's economic growth averaged just about 2% a year. And after an 8% fall in 2020 due to COVID-19, the Mexican economy had a bounce back in 2021 of 4.7%, and in 2022 it grew up about 3.1%, and they're expected to grow even more in 2024. The unemployment rate in Mexico was about a 3.48 in 2019, a 4.45 in 2020, and a 4.38 in 2021. Their unemployment rate hit a historic low of about 2.7% in February of 2023, and the underemployment rate in February was also down 7.4%, meaning that they're recovering very well since the COVID-19 pandemic. Mexico gets majority of their imports from United States and China. Um, their top 10 imports are electrical machinery including computers, vehicles, mineral fuels, plastics, optical, technical, medical apparatus, iron articles of steel, organic chemicals, and aluminum. And their top 10 exports are cars, computers, trucks, automobile parts, crude oil, TV receivers, insulated wire, phone devices, medical instruments, and tractors. In case you didn't know, coffee is actually one of Mexico's most valuable export crops, and Mexico is also one of the leading producers of vanilla. So, the Mexico currently has a population of about 129.2 million, ranking number 10 in the most populated in the world. Majority of their population is located in the middle of the country, and over the years they have indicated a positive population growth. The birth rate being of about 13.95 per 1,000 people, which the fertility rate is about 2.4 children per woman. But unfortunately, those numbers have fallen recently in the recent years due to failing marriages. Their population continues to grow at a fairly steady rate and is expected to reach at about 148 million in 2030. Um, and the reasoning behind that is because times and technologies are more advanced and medical help is more efficient. So, though their economy has grown rapidly since the 1970s, their GDP per capita has decreased in the last few years and remains far below that of the United States. Um, in 2021, their GDP was approximately $19,100. And these numbers make sense considering that earlier we had talked about the slow growth of the economy and the rapid growth of the population, which does result in a lower standard of living. Majority of their GDP does come from services, including trading, transportation, finance, and government. The culture in Mexico is that of different and similar ways in the United States. The main religions in Mexico are the Roman Catholic, the Protestant, Evangelical, Christian, and these are also the two top religions in the United States. Um, Families in Mexico tend to be very large, traditional generals, and strong connection between family members. Parents and adults are treated with the utmost respect. Um, in 2017, Mexico was one of the many OECD countries with the most rapid increase in mobile and broadband subscriptions, growing at about 14 times over the period. Though Mexico is behind on technological development, the Mexico is Latin America's largest exporter of high technology goods due to development of science and technology programs. Um, After conducting all of this research on Mexico, if I were a multinational company, I think that I would definitely invest in Mexico. They have one of the largest economies in the world, one of the 15, and it only continues to grow. They are a country that gets along well with others. They are great business for the United States because there are so many things that we have that they don't. Therefore, they will always have a business. I feel that investing in Mexico will only help them because the country will only help them become the country that they have the potential to be. We can retrieve things like agave, silver, and coffee, which is cheaper and more efficient price to purchase from Mexico than it would be to produce it ourselves. Though their GDP is not near as large as the United States, they are a country that continues to grow, meaning that they have the potential to get there. So, therefore, if I was a multinational company, I think that I would definitely invest in Mexico. And you should too.